What's up, squad? This is Brandon from the Bantu Sun. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, Trump tariffs are going into effect. A lot of reciprocal tariffs and punitive tariffs, basically. And on the premise of it all, you really can't argue the logic, right? What's good for the gander is good for the goose. If countries want to put tariffs on American goods, Americans are justified in putting tariffs on those countries. But for those who understand economics, geopolitics, relationships, how America has got to where it's gotten today, and how the world works, I think this is a really dangerous game to play. Why did I say that? Yes, of course, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth situation, where if a country is slapping you with a tariff, it's justifiable. But you're not starting from the same starting point, right? America, when it goes to the negotiating table, it is going to the negotiating table with one of the most wealthiest, well endowed countries the world has ever seen. To say that America should engage in a relationship with Vietnam on an equal footing as a trade, it will be almost suicide for Vietnam, right? Because whatever Vietnam can do outside of producing tropical goods, and that's debatable, America will inundate their market, outcompete them on price, and basically crash their economy domestically, while basically impoverishing them to almost servitude in pursuit of buying American goods because they won't be able to have sustainable businesses with their own country. There is a balance there. Like, economics is very complex. There's certain goods, and those various goods can respond to different levels of tariffs, etc. But I think this is a really dangerous game because the fundamentals of American security is through alliances. And this is really exposed in a dichotomy of World War I and World War II. What happened in World War I? America gets brought in on the latter half of the war. They come in, eventually win the war with its allies, France and UK, more or less. And then within 20 years, not even, but within 20 years, within 15 years, World War II is already underway, right? Now, you think about the scale, and this was European history. America is a daughter of European culture. But if you look at European history, it was constant warfare back and forth because of the competitive nature of the European continent. And it only got squashed when America, a country that was strong enough, which there was no country strong enough in Europe, I mind you, that America was strong enough to come in, sit everybody down, and say, this is how we're going to do anything. They had the ability to back it up. And more, and even better, they had the support to provide to their allies to sustain it. America opened its markets to its allies, and that it was underlined. They're open their markets to their allies, and they secured the Suez Strait, and that's always been the fundamental anchor between the transatlantic relationship between the United States and Europe. And as a caveat, security through the Soviet defense. And I never thought that the Soviet Union was expansion. Imperialistic, yes, understood. But I think it became quite prevalent that the Soviet Union understood that they couldn't go into Western Europe. They drew up the Iron Curtain, and you had your Eastern and Western Europe, of course. But why was the Soviet Unions in those countries? They had pushed back the Nazis who had conquered those countries already. They were securing their outer realm. So it's not like the Soviet Union invaded these countries first, but they were sucked into these unions by the basically when they were chasing and retreating Nazis. So what America did was America said, okay, World War I, this didn't work. Why did it work? Because the same problems existed. Whether that's from Germany or Japan, both of these countries needed security. If you listen to some of or read about some of the gripes of Hitler, it was that he was appealing to his people and saying, we are a nation. We are the Germanic people. We take care of each other. And it's us against these imperialistic bastard empires. These empires made of these incongruent groups and cultures and religions from across the world, which give them phenomenal scope because they're able to access all types of products and goods and trade. But he said it was basically, he attributed this to them also being impure, less than holy, which he attributed a trait of the Germanic Empire, of the Third Reich. So when America defeated these countries, what America did is say, look, guys, we're going to bring this all together. We're going to let you maintain Germany for Germans, but we're also going to give you breadth. We have the sea lanes. We're going to give you goods from all over the world, and we're going to buy. It's no mistake that the two main antagonists in World War II was Germany and Japan. And who are the largest exporters in modern day on a per capita basis? Where do you see, who cars do you see everywhere in the world? German cars and Japanese cars. And it's because America ensured the open market, because all these wars were about gaining access to markets. This is something the empires had, the nation states struggled with. And as they wanted to grow, they knew that they need trade and customers, and they were being blocked out. And as Lee Kuan Yew famously quipped, if goods don't cross the borders, soldiers will. And that's what happened. America established a relationship, and they basically ensured hemispheric defense, not from within inside the United States, not from within inside North America, not from within inside the Western Hemisphere. America put troops as far east as the world's round, but in East Asia, in Japan, and as in the territories which they had taken from Spain as well. You have Guam out there, as well as through other islands, and a strong relationship with the Philippines, and it put their troops in Western Europe. So America was secured not from North America. America was secured by its early alert system in Japan and in Central Europe, in Germany. So with NATO. So America knew that if they needed to protect themselves, for Russians or whoever it is, let's say China wanted to invade America, guess what? China got to go past Japan first. So it was a tripwire. These countries served as a tripwire. Not only that, but now America has ability to garner allies to almost work in a semi-global matter. Like if you look at wars such as a Desert Storm, when you have America going to Afghanistan, America did a lot of work with allies. Even in Ukraine right now, the West has done a very good job of trying to utilize allies to force multiply, to solidify their forces. What Trump is doing right now with these tariffs is basically putting the world back into a form of regionalism. I think it's, of course, Greenland is very important to national security. Panama, very important to national security. And aligning Canada and Mexico, very important to national security. So I understand what he's doing. But retreating from the world is going to leave a dangerous game. One of the articles, a couple articles I've read actually talks about the alternatives. Because what you think is going to happen, right? The world is going to go into poverty. It's going to beg America. But that's not what's going to happen. The world is going to evolve without America. And for the countries that are able to build relationships, and a lot of countries haven't been able to do it. This is why the United States is so exceptional in some degree, is their ability to feed the machine with any goods, with any fodder. America take migrants from any country and they'll make them world-class scientists, doctors, etc. America has no problem basically giving benefit. America has no problem giving benefit. America has no problem enabling great talent from anywhere in the world. And that's a very exceptional trait of the United States. But other countries have this ability, they just haven't perfected it and they haven't evolved it. But guess what? You know what making you evolve it? Your tariffs. You can't sell it to America. Because before the answer was easy. If we can get into American markets, we're good. American consumers will buy our products and we'll be good to go. But now with these tariffs, these countries are going to start to think. And when they start to think critically, they're going to start to become more aggressive. because now they're going to be focused on their interests. And Big Daddy America is not going to come and protect their interests anymore. America's not going to make sure everything works itself out. Squash the bad guys. These countries are going to start doing for their own. And the more they do for their own, the more harder it's going to be to rein them in. And the more ambitious they're going to get, not only in their trade agreements, but their defense and security agreements as well. America isn't the only show in town, just the best one. But what kind of show is it if it closes its doors? So you have countries, especially in South America, such as Brazil, Argentina, great opportunity, temperate zones similar to America that can produce similar crops such as soy and wheat. They export to the world. Their populations are small enough that they're not going to consume all that they produce. As they build relationships with China, what would America do with a security pact between Argentina and China? Right? You have a situation like that. Same thing. If you look across the world and these countries start to look for alternatives to America, starts to go from being the center of global unity, right, to an irrelevant player at the table that only looks out for himself. It's going to be interesting how much President Trump pushed through over these next coming years, but the ramifications are already starting to manifest themselves as customers and countries start to look for alternatives. And that whole situation with Ukraine, good luck getting another ally that's going to be all on board with America, because you have a situation with Ukraine that has suffered tremendously from Russian aggression. Justified or not justified, I'm not debating that. But what I am saying is there's a lot of bad blood, and Ukraine really stuck its neck out in efforts to join a Western alliance. And America is almost leading them out to dry. And the only reason they haven't fully left them out to dry is because Russia has done exactly what the Democrats said they were going to do, right or wrong and different. And that is Putin is moving the goalposts, giving an opportunity for peace. And while he's in an advantageous position, now he acts like peace isn't imminent. It's not so important now. We get to it when the terms are favorable enough. They don't want peace. They want to win, and they don't want to be in a vulnerable position again, this being Russia. So this ever-evolving situation, I think, really has dangerous ramifications for America's central role within the world. And America cannot have good hemispheric defense if it's defending from within inside the hemisphere. And this goes back to the fundamentals of geography. The Americas are not the world island. The world island is Eurasia. It is Eurasia that has the population, the capital, the resources to challenge and outscale the Americas. And this is fundamental. Eurasia has a capacity to colonize Africa and Australia. And this has been done before. So we should be mindful. We should be mindful of the limitations we set for others, because a fortification can quickly turn into a prison. So America needs to be very mindful of the barriers they put up. They will keep people out, but they will also entrap Americans in. Those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment below if you have any insight or understanding of the topic, that great information. We really appreciate it. Also, like, share, subscribe if you enjoy the content. Until next time, take care. Bantu up.